All right. I am so excited, so honored to have Saul Markowitz here on the Move Happy Movement podcast. Thank you
And
so much for taking the time to be on the show.
it's my honor to be with you, my friend.
Yeah, so fun. So you and I connected on LinkedIn and we had an awesome call. I want to say it was like a month ago or so.
Right.
I felt like we got really deep on that initial kind of introductory call, and I just knew you'd be a perfect fit to just share your story.
Well,
So
I
yeah,
was,
so thank
I
you.
was a little surprised that you didn't hang up on me after about 6 or 7 minutes. Yeah, that's usually the limit. They go, Saul Markowitz, 5 minutes I can handle. 7 minutes, a bit much. So that was a great conversation. I appreciate that. Seems like
It really was.
you're
It
on top
really
of your
was.
game, my friend. You're totally on top of your game.
Thank you. Likewise. I mean, Cirque du Soleil. We'll get into all those details in a minute. For those that don't know what you're about, don't know your story, why don't you kind of sum up your origin story? What did you do in the past to how did you get to where you're at now, and where are you headed in the future?
Actually, I'm a graduate of University of Pittsburgh back in 1984, which makes me very old. And it actually took me a while I was still in college to try to figure out what I wanted to do with myself. I always knew I loved the whole PR game. And I'll tell you why. First of all, I always loved the idea of meeting as many people as possible and kind of learning everyone else's story. I'm all about people's stories. So when I was in school, I thought, okay, maybe I'll be pre-law. And I thought, oh, there's books involved. Let's forget about that. And then, that you have to study if you become a lawyer. So I had to stay away from that. So I ended up actually, I mean? No use for, unless there's cliff notes for everything, I'm not doing it. So I ended up, early on my freshman year, just joining the Pitt radio station, becoming the promotion director there, writing for the Pitt News. And then my wife and I, we started dating our junior year. I ended up having a radio show that she became the host, my co-host of. So it was nice. Yeah, it was actually kind of cool. And the reason for doing a lot of this stuff too, just so you know, I'm the youngest of 6 boys. My dad was a clergyman, and I had absolutely no money. And so, growing up in Buffalo, ending up in Erie, PA for a little while, and then coming to Pittsburgh, I loved working for the radio station. I was getting all these free tickets for everything. It was like, wow, I can write stories. So I thought, well, if I can make a living doing this and not having to pay for anything, that would be really cool.
Right.
So I became a psych major at that time, and I was just thinking maybe that might be my way to go. But it always kind of came back to the whole PR thing, the idea of being the whole strategic thinking of PR people. We can talk more about that later on too. And just hearing the story and telling people stories was always kind of my thing. So that's how I kind of ended up there. And then when I graduated from college after doing a really cool internship in Pittsburgh, which I must say is like the greatest place ever to start a business or to even live in. I ended up working for the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra right out of school, which was amazing.
Cool.
And then from there, I got married at Heinz Hall where they perform. And then there was a big, a $42 million restored old movie house called the Benedum Center for the Performing Arts, which is opening right across the street. And I was all my 20s doing this stuff. So I was really trying my best to kind of be the guy they said, you're too young to do that. I always I can't do something. I go, watch this. And so, so I ended up somehow talking my way into that job. And so I helped open this gorgeous restored theater in Pittsburgh, handling Broadway shows, and just it was the most incredible job. So worked there for about 4 years or so, and then after doing a bunch of Broadway, and I think my last show was Cats, if I remember correctly, which you theater people will go, oh, please God, not Cats. And and all you moviegoers are saying, oh no, not Cats, right? So that didn't work out well. And so then I ended up going to Carnegie Mellon University, which is an incredible school, as the director of PR for the College of Fine Arts for a few years there. And then
what year was that?
That was actually 1990. Let's see, I worked at the Benedum from 87 to 90. It was 91.
91. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you weren't born yet. So anyways, I'm going to say.
Well, no, I was. My mom, I remember the connection. My mom was applying and got accepted to their master's program there. I want to say it was early 90s. It might have been late 80s. So it might have been around the same time that you were actually working there. I'm going to have to ask her. But
Fantastic.
go on. Sorry, I interrupted you.
The coolest school, I'll tell you. I mean, it was funny as a Pitt grad, CMU is a very difficult school to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it was funny because I remember when I started working, it gave me a student ID. And my wife and I both went to Pitt together. And we were so excited to get our first CMU IDs. We're like, look at us. We didn't actually get in, but look at us now. So we were so excited. So I ended up, working at the College of Fine Arts there for a while and handling everything from art, architecture, design, music, drama, which actually is one of the best drama programs in the country at Carnegie Mellon.
Wow.
Billy Porter, I'm going to say Billy Porter right now, CMU grad. These days, and then from there, my last stop before I started my our little company, the Pittsburgh Zoo at the time was a city-run facility for about 90-something years, and they were looking for their first PR marketing director to kind of change the image of the place, and also get people to come in and actually spend money at the gates to help, fix the place and let people know that it's there. So somehow, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up becoming their first PR marketing director in their 90-something years. It's still in my 20s. I tried to do it all in my 20s. As you can see,
wow.
I'm not in my 20s. Look at me. Anyway, so this is what PR does to you. Anyway, so I ended up, that was a very cool job. I ended up working there and for about 4 years and had a staff of, I think it was about 12 of us at that time. So I was this young guy having a staff of 12 people under me, and that included special events, group sales, development, the whole bit. And I'm very proud to say that, we raised a lot of money, and our attendance was up over 60% or so at least.
60%? Wow. That's huge.
Actually, it was huge. And the other thing that I'm really proud of too is that we had absolutely no money whatsoever coming in when it came to sponsorships. And, and within 2 years, we brought in over $2.2 million of in-kind advertising.
Holy moly.
So, now, the worst part about that was my boss, who was the director of the zoo, wouldn't raise my budget because she said, why should I give you more money? You keep bringing more money in without me having to deal with that. So sometimes if you do too good of a job, you don't get rewarded on that end. But it was actually really awesome. And the zoo really kicked it. And it's doing actually really well these days too. So then on April Fool's Day of 1997, it's a great day. My wife and I didn't realize that was the day. We started Markowitz Communications in Pittsburgh, which is a full service PR/marketing/promotion, everything firm. And our job really, what Markowitz Communication does is we tell your story. So either you're a nonprofit or you're a private organization or corporation, whatever it is. We've worked with so many incredible clients in the last almost 24 years now.
That is so cool.
That's kind of the short of it right now. So it's we're very, very fortunate. I feel very, very lucky that I've surrounded myself with really, really great people. And so I don't like to take credit for this though. It's all about the staff and about the my wife, who really worked really hard to help me get this business going. And here we are. We're still around and kicking. So
I love it. I love it. And there's definitely something to be said about the leadership when you have a great team that sticks with you for that long. So you've got to be able to give yourself some credit there.
Well, what I've learned, I was very, very lucky. I'll go back to my Pitt days again. So my senior year of college, I did my first PR internship. It was called the Gateway Clipper Fleet. It's down in the rivers, the three rivers of Pittsburgh. And I had this amazing supervisor. It was me, and her name was Debbie Custrin. She's out there somewhere. I give her a lot of credit for what she did for me. So it was just me and her. And there I was, this little guy coming in there, really nervous about what am I going to do when I graduate. And she took me under her wing, and she treated me like I was as important as anybody else in that office. And she taught me how to lay ads out and how to pitch media and all that. It was so great. And
awesome.
And within a few months, she actually quit her job to get a really nice job somewhere else. And I was still in college at the time, and she told her supervisor that they should hire me on, even though I was still in college, to take over her spot. So I had my first real job before I graduated from college.
That's so neat. That's so cool.
What I did is I taught this is how we treat our staff too. My wife and I do it the same way. Treat them like family. Make sure that they if they want to learn something, we toss them right. I always say we toss them right into the fire. And so we do that with interns also. The idea of learning, the best way to learn the business is just by learning it. And that's exactly what I learned early on in my internship. So I just kind of brought it along with me the way I was taught, way back when I was young, before the gray
I
hair.
love that. I love that before the gray hair. I
Yeah.
love that. Well, thank you for sharing your background. So part of Move Happy, one of the strong pillars of it is really about keeping a positive mindset, and just your whole energy and your story of where you've come from is just all about positivity. But I'm sure that you've hit some bumps in the road and whatnot. If you wouldn't mind sharing maybe some struggles and how you were able to kind of keep a positive mindset as the leader of your home, leader of your business and whatnot, for those that might, be interested in PR lifestyle.
Well, one of the things I always tell people too is that, we're put down on this earth for a short time. So
Mhm.
we're here for lucky 85, 90 years or so. So my thing is, while we're here, let's do good things. Let's make a mark. Everyone should make their mark, whatever it is, a PR, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer,
Mhm.
if you're, whatever it is, do good things for people. Try to do something a little bit more creative that can help others. And so, I've had, through the years, it was funny. I was just talking to one of my staff people about this today too, is that there's always those people out there that try to put you down. I remember early on in my career, people saying, you're too young, you can't handle that, you're too young, you can't, why do you have this job and I don't? I've actually had that happen to me a few times too, is that,
Haters.
well, that's all it is. It's the reason people bully you is because they're jealous of you. That's really about it. They just feel like, and I learned this too, is like when someone is bullying you, you just go up to them and say, I know you're having a bad day. Is there anything I can do to help you?
They probably hate that.
Those people that always make fun of that. And I've had that a lot too. And I'm going to say too is, what's happening in the world right now too. I mean, being a proud Jewish guy here too. And I grew up as an Orthodox Jew, and my dad was a clergyman. There was a lot of that anti-Semitism thrown my way and my family's way too, through the years. And what do you do about it? I mean, you just have to, continue being proud of who you are, and make sure that you're teaching other people not to be that way. And that's exactly. So,
be the example.
In business, I've had clients that were, I mean, one of the worst clients, I'm not going to mention any names, but, I've been very lucky that most of the clients I've had have been pretty cool. And we're also very, very picky about who we pick up. I'm all about not selling out. And I would say, if it's not fun, why do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's other things that we also have, I do a lot of crisis PR work too. So, it's not always fun, but you have to believe in what you're working on. I mean, the whole selling out thing, which people do all the time just for money, has never been our thing. So, and I've had clients which I really love the work, but then there's certain people within the client, that I worked with. For example, there's one client who actually was just really, really nasty. I mean, really horrid. It was a point where this person, I'm not gonna say he or she, but this person actually said to me over the phone, if you don't do what I tell you, I'm just gonna come up there and stab you in the neck. I remember hearing, I was like, whoa, really? It's just a client. Stop it. So what do you do about that whole thing? I mean, it's like, okay, is the money worth, right? I mean, as much as I love the account, is it really worth that? Is it worth
No, that's when you cut ties.
Right. The whole happy thing. I mean, really, even though the work might be kind of tough, if you don't have any joy at all, so you can have joy and happiness and doing things that are really tough to do too, because you feel like you're helping and doing something. And so, like the project I told you about, we'll talk about that later on too, which I'm in the middle of right now too, which is really tough, but it's very rewarding because I'm working on it. And so what I did on that end was I kind of worked it out in my own mind, and talked to a lot of friends and family, and then I just told the client, the money's not worth it.
Good. How did they respond? Do you remember?
Well, it was actually, the story kind of goes around a little bit. It's interesting. I actually said, it didn't go well because they weren't sure exactly how to deal with it because they were so in charge all the time. And there I was saying, sorry. So it turns out I did get a phone call about 2 years later from the same account. And she said, this person that I know wasn't very nice to you is no longer working there. And of course, the first thing I said was, yes. I didn't want, I try to be always like upbeat and everything, but you probably would have said the same thing. So I said, So I was trying to be like very straight and nice about it. I went, so tell me exactly what happened. And they said, well, fortunately we had to, we had to let her go. I said,
Was she
did you,
threatening people?
I sound like this, did she cry? Did the police come and take her? Like I'm saying joy from finding out exactly how she got fired, which is really kind
Yeah.
of nasty of me. And then they said, we
Yeah.
really can't talk about that. I went, oh no, I was
Of
just
course.
kind of
Of course not.
curious. I hope she's okay, but
Yeah.
just to make me a little head to
You
say, hey, I
saved
kind of
yourself.
survived. And
Yeah.
they said, we don't want, we can't really talk about it. I said, that's fine. But I think we made a mistake by treating you this way, and we'd love to have you back. And I went, I
Uh-huh.
don't need to come back. And they said, no, we really want you back. So I went, first of all, you have to promise me that this person is no longer working there. You're not just saying that. And I went,
Yeah.
no, this person is gone. And I said, well, if you want me back, these are the rules.
Yeah.
this is how I want to be treated next time.
That's good.
You know,
That's good. You
I
set
don't
the
like to travel
boundaries.
as much. I like to be with my family a little bit more. I know I can still do the work without
Yeah.
having to go always to, I was traveling to New York and Atlanta and
Mm-hmm.
Boca and all these other places all over the country actually doing stuff. And it was a great gig. And so, and I said, this is how much I'd like to get paid. And so bottom line is they did bring us back for a while.
Good.
And then, so there you go. Things happen. But then you see, things, you have those rough spots, and then, you get through it, and either you get rid of the account, you just don't work on the account, or you talk to the person. I've had this happen too, where I'll just talk to my client and say, this is how I feel about it, and just be really honest with people.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. Just be straight up. It's that way with
Absolutely.
dating. That way with being married.
So true.
If you just
translatable skills.
just say it,
Yep.
So, anyways.
Love it. Thank you. Second pillar of Move Happy is all about building strong community. So you really touched on that with your leadership experience. What have you learned along your journey for someone that might be wanting to get in the PR industry and maybe doesn't have a lot of networking skills or just in general for building a community?
It's actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So here's kind of the deal. The deal is, I hear a lot of people say they want to break into the PR world. And I've done a lot of guest speaking in universities and in different organizations. And I always do something like that. I go, so tell me, who wants to really break into PR? And they raise their hands. Yeah. I go, why do you want to get into the PR world? And it's always the younger group. It reminds me of me when I was younger. They go, I like people. And I go, I don't like people. And I'm joking. I go, or my relative, my mom says I'm a really good speaker. So I don't really think that's the reason why you want to kind of break into this field. I think the reason you want to do it is because you really want to do something good. You want to be able to really be able to get the correct messaging out. So I'm going to give you, actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to give you my 4 rules of good PR. I think that'll help you.
Love
it. So, number 1 rule, which I think we're missing a lot in this world, is number 1 is tell the truth. Let's play around with that for a few minutes here, shall we? So, you know what I'm talking about? So,
very poignant.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever your career is, tell the truth. Because here's the thing, if something is really, really bad, so it's a horrible thing happened, you did something really bad, and then you lie about it, it always comes back to haunt you all the time. When it comes to PR and the crisis PR side of it, or any project I've ever worked on, if a client comes up to me and says something which I know is not true, then it's, I can't believe I don't believe in promoting it. I can't promote this thing. I can't do it.
Yeah,
it's just not true. Yeah. So it's really important, as bad as it is, just say it, because, here's the thing. If you tell the truth, it will go away very quickly. If you don't tell the truth, then you sometimes can get impeached. So the bottom line is, not just the presidency, but impeached in in whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
You can be thrown out of your job. You can be, so you have to really be, and I'm not trying to get political here, but I'm just saying it's the whole truth thing. How many times have you had friends who just completely lie to your face, and it's going to come back, always. But if you did something bad or something happened, you stole something. So I do this a lot with my clients too. When I first come into an account, and if it's something that they need help to, if it's a crisis or something, I'll say, I'm a big boy, I can handle it. Now tell me exactly what happened. Just tell me what happened.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, did you embezzle? Did you have an affair? Did you do that? What did you do? I just want to know what you did. Because I'm telling you, if I'm helping you and then I find out later that you lied to me, then that's all it is. Because all you have in the PR world, and actually I think in any career, is your reputation. You have nothing. You have, like what you're doing right now, you know, it's your reputation. If people don't believe you, if they don't believe you, it's over.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I think it's over. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
then they'll just move on. And the same, and we work with the media quite often. And so, you know, I'm very, very proud of me and my staff, especially, that the media trusts us. They go, they know I'm never going to lie to them about anything. And even if it's really crappy, I'm going to say it was really crappy and this is what happened. And a lot of the times they'll say, thank you for telling me, let's move on to something else. But if I say to them, actually, no, that's not exactly what happened, and I lied to them, then they're going to go out and place trying to find out if I was lying to them or not. So just get it over with. Okay, so that's rule number one. Sorry, I took so long on that one.
That's really good. Important. Right? Very important rule in all aspects of life.
Okay, so the second rule, this is so much fun. The second rule is never say no comment. Okay, so you probably hear this a lot, right? They go, so let's picture, I always picture the scene. So the guy's going to the federal courthouse and he's in shackles, and the media goes up to him and says, did you rob that place? No comment. Well, I guess you did. So
yeah.
I mean, no comment always sounds like you're guilty, always.
Yeah.
So instead of saying no comment, just say, you know, when I have a good answer for you, just tell the truth. At this moment, I can't talk about this, but I will get back to you. Like, whatever it is, give them an answer. But don't say no comment. And I've had a lot of clients say to me, what do you want to say to the media? And they say, just tell them no comment. So what I'll do is I'll call the media and say, at this moment, my client does not have a comment, but when they do, we'll get back to you.
That's perfect.
And that's fair enough. All right, so the third rule is, if you don't know the answer to something, just tell them you'll get back to them. You know, whatever it is, the media, and that gives you a little bit of time to at least get yourself together. And you go, okay, you know, let me just find out, because you may not know the information. I mean, there's so many times I get calls from the media, from clients, I just don't have the answer. So I'm just being truthful with them and go, look, I don't have the answer. So let me just get on that one. And then
it's funny you mentioned, sorry, I want to interrupt you. It's funny you mentioned that one because, so I used to teach in college when I was in graduate school. I taught college students, and of course, many of them knew everything in the world. Right. And so when they asked questions that I didn't know an answer to, because no one outside of college would care, the response, what is that a fast twitch fiber or a slow twitch fiber? Like, what? Let's Google it. But I would say, you know what? I'm not sure. I didn't have a smartphone at the time. I'm actually not sure, but what do you think it is?
That's great. And then they go, let's move on to the next question.
Right? Exactly. Because they were like, oh, I tried to get you caught up in an uncomfortable situation. And it backfired on me.
Well done. All right. So here's the last one. So this is the final rule now is get back to them.
Yeah.
Done.
Follow up.
You say you're going to get back to them. Yeah. Just get back to them. And if you do with those four, so here's what I want you to do. So watch the news tomorrow night, okay? And let's see if any of those rules have been broken. I think number one might be broken very quickly, actually. You know, I mean,
and this is in regards to everyone that's listening now. We're filming in January, so of course this will air later, but.
Yeah, but still, take a look at it. I mean, just look around. Or just see, okay, number one rule, tell the truth. Let's see. Number two, right? Never say no comment. Just go around, let's see if that actually happens. All right, so that's kind of my 4 rules of.
I love it, and that's great. Yeah. All of those are great in building community, specifically in PR, but also really in general in life. I mean, if you're an honest person, you're going to attract, you know, a lucky partner, romantically or business-wise, because who wants to work with someone that lies all the time? You know, that's great. Very applicable skills in all areas of life.
Here's the thing, people love to support organizations and people that they feel good about.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's not that difficult to figure out. You know, when I worked at the zoo, it was the same thing. You know, we would work along with this other ad firm. We would create these really funky ads that were really fun. I mean, it's kind of changing the image to what the zoo was like before I got there. So we did this one campaign about this little clam thing. It's a long story, but they were really very funny stuff. And there were people around, when I first started out, I was that young little, actually, we were known, our nickname for our department was the damn marketing department, because I thought that was pretty funny. Like, we're the damn marketing, I'm the director of the damn marketing, because they heard that this young guy's coming in with his, his whole, and they're going to try to change things up the way they used to be done for the last 100 years. We were doing that for a reason. We were doing it to build positive awareness around the zoo that people haven't been to in a long time. And once you build positive awareness, not just awareness, but positive awareness around this organization, people will be willing to put money at the front gate to come in and see the place. And so if it means we have to be creative to get you in there, we're going to do it.
Love it.
And so, and the way to handle that was, when, I would actually bring my staff in, and we would present in front of the entire zoo, all the staff, and say, I know you've been calling us a damn marketing department. Here's what we're working on. What do you think? Like, just throw right at them. Now you have anything bad to say it in front of me. I don't really care. Just say it. I'll just find another job. No, I'm kidding. Anyway.
No, that's great. That's great. I love it.
Don't be afraid to be different and be creative. Remember, just because you don't have a lot of budget, and I'm talking to the nonprofit people out there, just because you don't have a big budget doesn't mean you can't be creative. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm going to kind of sneak into the whole community thing that you asked me to. So really, really important that, and I say this to my clients too, the ones who come from out of town and the ones who are in Pittsburgh and wherever I am, really, really important to get involved in your community. Do good things for the community. If it means, and I'm not about making money or anything else, take the skill that you have. Okay. If you're an accountant or if you're a PR person or if you're marketing or whatever it is, it wouldn't hurt you to take your skills and do so, like I said early on, do something good for the world, which means do something good for your community too. So, there's been times where I've seen things in the paper. I remember there was a sled, I'm a beer league hockey guy. I know I'm a short little Jewish guy, but I like to play beer league hockey for some reason. It's my my Buffalonian in me. I love being on the ice and playing hockey. Right? I'm not, that's the other. What are you doing playing hockey? You're a small little Jewish guy. And I go, watch me do this. It's a whole thing about tell me I can't
sneak between their feet.
Hey. Yeah, exactly. So, the whole idea there is like, it's just, I saw this story about this amazing sled hockey. You ever hear of sled hockey? It's so amazing how they do this. So there's young kids and adults that do this thing. I think it's in the Special Olympics too, where they actually, they slide on these little sleds because they can't skate. I saw this whole thing. I heard about it, and I called, someone who was in charge of this Pittsburgh group, and I called him. I said, "You have no idea who I am, but I'm going to do your PR for you because I think what you're doing is unbelievable. And so what can I do to help you?
Yeah, I love that.
That kind of thing." So, finding our son has some health issues, and my wife and I have been jumping in on this autoimmune issue called PANDAS, a pediatric autoimmune disorder, which I'm sure people out there might have heard about. And we've jumped in like headfirst into doing trying to get exposure for those parents who are out there who have kids who are struggling with this right now. And people don't know what it is. So we've worked on the 2020 segments. We've worked on national stories for them. But that's why my wife and I have been really, especially her, just really jumping in. Find those organizations that you really feel comfortable with. If it's your synagogue, your church, whatever it is, just find. And don't worry about the money side of that. That's not the important part. The important part is you need to do something to help your community.
I love that. Yeah. And you're totally right about the no finance, no funding to get creative because, I actually am working with a nonprofit partner and I'm organizing a big live event here later this fall. Yes. And they were like so concerned about how much it was going to cost at first, and then I was like, no, my goal is to bring you money because I want to do this to add value and to build my brand and to let people know that I am associated with your organization because they actually fund the research for alternative methods for people with mental illness. Like how cool is that? And it's expensive to run studies and get those partnerships with universities and whatnot. So it's magical things are happening. Just hired a president for my company and she's doing zero salary year one because she's believing in this thing so much. So it really, when you're clear on where you're headed,
Yeah, I'm jumping
Creativity flows.
I'm jumping with your event. You know that, right?
I love it. I love it. Yes, I'm excited.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll help you find somebody who actually knows how to do it. This PR thing, not me. I'll find somebody who really knows what they're doing. Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Sounds
That's fair enough.
great.
So anyway, no,
Sounds great.
I'll give one last quick story or two. Is that it was, I went to. We're very fortunate that Cirque du Soleil is one of our clients. I mean, we do work with Cirque, which is, one of
It's
the
big. This is big time. It's big time.
Yeah, it's very. So we do work in Pittsburgh and other markets around the area too, and they are the greatest people to work for and to work with, and plus they're so talented. And every time I go to rehearsal for Cirque du Soleil, I always feel like I have to go to the gym the next morning because they make me feel so uncomfortable. They're in such great shape, these people. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, they, I flew out to Montreal when I first got the account, and they sat back with me, and it was so exciting to be at the headquarters of Cirque, and I can't even describe how great this is. So I just got back from doing a show a few weeks ago, and
So cool.
and so
You
we're
must
sitting
be like
there.
so excited.
You have no idea. I flew back to Pittsburgh, and I was like out of my mind, because these people are so nice and they're so cool. So I'm in Montreal, and they said to me, they never went to Pittsburgh before. They said, "Tell me a little bit about your market. Like, how do we break into the Pittsburgh market?" And I said, "The first thing you need to do is you need to be a part of the community.
Yep.
You can't just show up because people have never seen you guys before." And actually, there was I'm not going to say who it is, but there was a major player in Pittsburgh who said at a meeting they didn't want Cirque coming in, so they weren't sure what to do with all the animals that Cirque was bringing in. I said, "There's no animals in Cirque. That's not the type of circus there." So that's what they knew about it. So they have people who actually can turn themselves into animals somehow. But I said to him, what you need to do is you need to come to town. You just come to, and we'll introduce you around. We'll introduce you to the mayor and to all the players that you need, the CVBs and all that kind of stuff. But you need to be a part of the community first. People will buy tickets if they feel like you're helping the community, that you're doing something really good. And they did. They flew in, and we did some really cool stuff with them early on. And since then, they've done so many shows in their market, and the market loves them because I think we started it out right.
Yep.
The stories, we did a lot of human interest story type. I love human interest stories. A lot of human interest stories about local people in the show, and why, what a big deal this is to have Pittsburgh have this show, them coming in and all that kind of thing. So trying to find those angles, but it's all about the community thing, That's
Maybe you can get them to come to my event in October.
We're pushing it. We're pushing it. We'll talk about that later. All right. You want Ellen John too? What else do you want from me?
Yes, and Ellen and Oprah. Bring all your people. Make your phone calls. Obama.
Hold on, I get off the
Love it. Okay. Third pillar, Move Happy, is all about movement.
Yes.
So I created the program in a psychiatric hospital. We had no budget.
Yep.
So with that in mind, what are some of your most favorite ways to move your body that really don't cost a lot? I know you mentioned hockey, things like that. Anything else?
Yeah, actually, just a quick little story. So last December 22nd, just a little backstory. So we're from Pittsburgh. Markowitz Communications is located in Pittsburgh for the last 24 years or so, and we have a house there and everything else. But our son has as I was saying, some health issues. So now we're down outside of Orlando because the air quality is working much better for him down here.
Okay.
So so I'm also a beer leaguer. So I've been playing hockey. I'm 57 now, but since I was very young, I played street hockey, deck hockey, and started playing ice hockey when I was 30, just because I wanted to play ice hockey before I got too old. So I taught myself how to skate, did my whole thing. All right. Anyway, so while I'm here in Florida, I have my hockey bag here, and I have a hockey bag in Pittsburgh. And I played my first game last December in Florida, and I didn't feel that well. And a few days later, I ended up having quadruple bypass surgery.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Ridiculous. But here's the problem. The problem is I'm not very good at relaxing and dealing with surgery that well. So the first thing I wanted to do after surgery was to play hockey like a day or two later. And my wife was not too thrilled about that. Either were the doctors.
I would feel the same way.
So before the whole surgery thing, I always kind of stayed in shape. I didn't walk as much. I would play my hockey once a week, but I was always running around because of work. But starting after surgery, I actually started getting into, cardiac rehab and And so now, for some reason, for years, my wife would say to me, let's go for a nice long walk. And I go, why would I walk? Where am I going? I need to have a goal somewhere. Like in hockey, I know there's a net over here. There's a net over here. And she just want to take a walk. I go, are we going to the supermarket? Where are we going?
You're like purpose driven. She's like quality time.
Well, there has to be a reason behind. I'm very strategic. I need to know what the goal is. And so it used to drive her crazy. And we'd go for walks and I'd complain all the time. Oh, this is such a waste. I'm so bored. So now, now I have my Apple Watch. I did my cardiac rehab and the whole bit. And now I'm like really into walking.
Because of the watch?
Oh my God. So, well, about grilled apple. Talk about Jewish guilt. I give a lot of Jewish guilt out to people. This thing, Jewish guilt to me, they go, stand up. You know that on your watch?
It's like,
go,
it's time to move.
The only thing it doesn't do is sound like my mom. Make sure eat something already. Like, eat something. So anyways, it gives you have no choice but to exercise.
Yeah.
So now I'm like really into, it's been about a year now since my surgery. And I actually started playing hockey again a few months ago because it was a challenge for me. I wanted to get back on the ice before the year was up just to prove I can do it.
Yeah. Did you feel like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I got it. Do I feel like, go ahead.
Did you feel like your first game back after, cardiac surgery and rehab and everything, what were you feeling?
Am I the biggest idiot in the world? No, it actually was like, no, the feeling I had was, I was very, very proud of myself for getting back to that point. Yeah. And I played up in Pittsburgh for so long, and I know most of the guys and the women who have been in our league for so long. And for me, it was very, it hit me pretty hard when I hit the ice for the first time. I got pretty choked up. So, yeah. I don't want to think about it now because I'll get choked up.
Because you did it. You got yourself back on the ice.
No, I worked really hard to get to the point where, and it was cool because my wife Bonnie, she was, when I told her I wanted to sign up for another season, and this was the season where I wasn't sure I could play or not. And it's not that cheap to play. I said to her, I just want to pay so I can play the one game. I can just get back on the ice in October the way I said I was going to do it. It cost me a few $100s to play the one game. I'm fine with that. And she said, you just go for it. So I had that goal. Like in anything else, like, what's your goal? And try to reach it.
Yeah, love that. That's beautiful.
Back on the ice. Also, there was a circ show in April in Erie, Pennsylvania. It was my first goal before I just make the show in Erie first, if I can do that, because I couldn't fly or anything either for a few months. And I made that show, so that was cool. I actually made that. Wow. And then my goal to play hockey was October, to see if I can get back on the other. And I did. So, and now I'm in a league here in Florida, and actually very shortly I'm going to be playing the game tonight, which is great. So I've already played my first full game here a few weeks ago, and I've been back to Pittsburgh. I've played twice already back in Pittsburgh. So I'm back.
Awesome.
I'm not, and the feeling I had was very, very nervous. I was afraid I was going to get hit. I wasn't myself the first period, but by the second and third period, I just was so excited to be back on the ice again. It was pretty cool. So
that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And what are you guys really excited about that you want to share with our audience? And if anybody from our happy listeners on the podcast or vlog, if they want to get connected with you.
Well, a few things. I mean, we just finished another circ show, so I'm hoping that will happen again soon too. But, most of the clients that we work with, I really like them all. It's interesting to like your clients, but I really do. We do retail work, we do corporate work, we do crisis PR work. I love my nonprofit, my shows. I've been working with shows again for the last few years. It's kind of how things come full circle. Like all the places I've worked with in the past have hired us back to do certain projects through the years. So I've done work with the zoo. I've done work with. It's kind of cool, right? It kind of comes around. Yeah. And so at this moment, I'm kind of I'm just very fortunate to have a great staff, and they're doing amazing work. And I'm just always looking to work with other people and work together on different projects and collaborating and stuff. I'd love to work with other PR firms and other marketing firms. And cool. If you're out there looking for a little bit of PR advice or some help, I'd love to work with you. It'd be great.
Awesome. What's the best way they can connect with you for that? LinkedIn or website?
I'm a little bit of everything. So I'm at markowitzcommunications.com. The site is actually a little bit of bug I think by the time you guys get on my site, it should be fixed, but there's some updates that need to be done behind the scenes, but you can still take a look at it. You can find Markowitz Communications on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We're kind of all over the place. So, and call me anytime, and I'll give you my number. It's 412-977 8517. Sorry, 412-977-8517. And you can always email me at Saul, SAUL, at Markowitz, MARKOWITZ, communications with an S.com. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yay.
So everyone needs to reach out, connect with you, follow your stuff
Yeah,
on
make sure you take
LinkedIn.
care of her too. Make sure you take care of her.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the great what she's doing. Unbelievable. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Great work. And
Thank
it's all
you.
about happiness, happy doing good things for the world, you know.
Yeah. Thank you
Always
so much.
looking for good projects, you know.
Awesome.
It'll be fun.
Awesome.
And we're going to work together soon.
We are. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Okay. So last question's always fun, impromptu, to kind of help the audience kind of get to know you a little bit better. Of course, we did not talk about this before we started recording, so I'm just literally thinking of this on the spot. I know you mentioned that you didn't really like the walking with your wife, but then you got the iPhone, and then now you like it because you like the goal-driven part of the iPhone. So what's a place that you want to travel to with your wife that you haven't yet, to then be able to use that iPhone?
You go. In my Apple Watch?
In a new place.
No, I've always wanted to go to Israel. You know, it's interesting.
Ooh, me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like most of my family, I have family members there, and
you have family members there? Oh, cool.
I do. And actually, yeah, I do. And my grandparents, unfortunately, passed away there. But I used to, when I was younger, I used to have this Israeli stamp collection thing going. I went to a Jewish day school when I was younger, and I just never had a chance to go. I don't know. And, you know, with work is always kind of taking over so much of my life. So I think that would be really cool.
All right. When are you going?
Well, when am I going? When our son gets better. How's that?
Okay.
He's feeling great. And
he's doing great?
He's doing much better now.
Good.
Thank God. So he's doing great. He's working a little bit now. He's still in school, but he's, he's taking it one day at a time. And
love it.
There it is. And the last thing I'd like to do real quickly, if I had the chance, is I'd love to go to see I'm from Buffalo originally. One of my biggest dreams right now is to go to see the Bills at a Super Bowl and watch them win.
That's awesome.
Like, please, God, I'm begging you. I don't want to be. Okay, one last thing I'll say. I don't want to be that guy where my son goes to my tombstone and leaves something on it and goes, "Dad, they finally did it." So I don't want to be that person. Okay?
I want to be the guy. See it.
I want to be there. I want to see it. Almost happened this year. It's getting close. But if I can just see, I've seen my Penguins win Stanley Cups, which is cool. I love to see my Sabres actually make the playoffs finally. But if I can see the Bills actually win a Super Bowl, I don't know what I'll do with myself. I
love it. I love it. Well, thank you again so much. This has been so fun to have you on the show. I look forward to having you back and kind of getting more progress with what you're doing next time.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
All right. Good luck at your game.